Good morning to everyone. In this video we are going to discuss about functions in Python. Let's see what are all the things that is there in functions. In this video we are going to discuss about functions and arguments that we pass into functions. Let's getting into the video. Functions are nothing but it's a block of code. We all know that what is the importance of a function in case of programming language. It gives modularity into function, which means for example, if a larger task, it's a concept of divide and conquer rule. So we split the entire function of entire problem into small pieces of code, small pieces of problems, and we find solution for smaller problems, and together we when we integrate all the solutions, we'll get the solution for the bigger problem. This is what the function of modularity, and we adapt to this model of functionality right from the basics of C programming itself, right? So here Python also support functions, and let's see how these functions can be implemented. A function is a block of code which only runs when it is called. We all know that, and you can pass data known as parameters into the function. What we can call it as arguments, right? We pass arguments into the function, and a function can return data as a result also. Here functions can also return data as like in your C programming. Let's define how to let's open the IDE, and we will see how a function can be used. Right, before that, let's see the syntax for defining a function. Here def, it's a small, since it is of since this is the document that has been converted from MS Word, so the first letter it is automatically becomes title case, right? So here D small, right? Def print number. Here print number is the function, and it's almost similar function as like in your, we use parenthesis for a function, right? So we use parenthesis. So def is nothing but the definition of a function, right? So and here we pass arguments also, right? So arguments in the sense here anything it may be, either it is an integer value or a string, whatever the thing it is, we'll pass arguments, right? A simple function called define welcome function, and college name is passed as a argument, right? And here the argument is supplied, and whatever the value that is there in the argument is getting printed in the print statement, right? Here welcome to college name plus. Here this plus operator, as we discussed in the previous video itself, so this plus operator is almost acting as a concatenation of a string, right? So welcome to, if it is dealing with strings, right, so it is going to act as a concatenation process, right? And here welcome to appended with college name, appended with of Perundurai, right? So together all these will get printed in the output statement, right? Output screen. So welcome function, here Kongu Engineering College, this is the definition of the function. This statement is a definition of a function, and this is nothing but the function call, where this string Kongu Engineering College is passed as the argument to the function called welcome function. Let's see how this works. Let's open the file. Okay, so here welcome, I'll just simply pass the, I'll simply make it as simple as possible. You want to use this colon to make automatic indentation, right? And let's print. Here a string has to be given, welcome to. I'm going to append the college name, what I'm going to pass as an argument, right? So let's the def keyword is missing, so it's a keyword. Since it is keyword, it is automatically changed to red color, and function is defined. Now I want to call the function. So welcome of the college name has to be given, so here Kongu Engineering College, right? So now function is over. Let's save the program. Simple, it has to be stored with .py extension. Let's run the module. Here welcome to Kongu Engineering College. So this is how a function has to be defined, right? So def is a default keyword for defining the function, and you want to define the name of the function, and followed by the number of arguments, right? and you want to call the function as like in your C programming. The only change here is you want to use def as the keyword and followed by the colon operator, right? Colon operator is mostly used for defining automatic indentation, right? Where we use colon operator for loop, we use colon operator for if statements, else, and also defining a function, right? Okay, let's get into the next point. Here it supports return statements also, as like in your C programming you can return the values also, right? Let's see some example. Here return statement is look at here defining the absolute value. This is a function, this is the program that was used to define the absolute value, right? So let's whatever the argument that is getting passed, whether it checks for whether it is it will return with a value as a absolute value, right? So either it is a positive value, negative value, it will return it as a absolute value, right? So that is the function of this. And here here this function is called, right? Print is the function and it is getting called, and print of absolute of value. Here absolute of value is the function, and 2 is the initial argument that is getting passed. It is an integer value and it is supplied here, and it will check for the num value is greater than 0 or not, right? Because absolute value, so if it is greater than 0, then we can print the same value as it is. If it is less than 0, you want to multiply value of -1 with that, so that it becomes absolute, right? So that is what the concept here is. Let's check for the same here in IDLE. Absolute, let's take num is the variable I'm going to use. Here colon has to be used, and you want to check for whether the passed num value is greater than 1 or not, right? So here yes, colon has to be used. So if I give colon, it will automatically take the indentation. So since if it is greater than 1, it means it's a positive value, so I can directly print the num value. Otherwise, colon print num star -1, it has to be printed. So let's call the function called absolute, and you want to print the return. Here it returns value, right? So print of absolute of, let's take 2, right? So this is the function I am going to call, and let's pass some negative value also. Absolute of -15, right? So let's check for the module. Missing parenthesis in call function. Okay. Syntax is the most important task in case of Python programming, and what that is happening. So absolute of 2, it calls for absolute of 2. What is the output you are getting? 2 none, 15 none, right? So what is that 2 none? The function is getting called absolute of 2. Yes, if number is greater than 1, it will print number as it is, and if it is what is the y, that is a print for minus none, that is here. Num star -1, let's take instead of here, because there are some syntactic issues here. There is one more none that comes. Absolute of none, yes, function defined print absolute of n. Okay, nothing, no more issues. Okay, I'll check it for it. Here print num is greater than 1. Yes, it's right. Print num absolute of 2, absolute of 15. argument is passed. Sorry, yes, since it is print, right, I want to return the value, right? Yes, sorry, it has to be returned because this is a function that is going to return something. So you want to take care of your return statement. Yes, the value will be returned and it is going to printed here, right? Okay. Yes, now it works. So the value has to be returned, right? Return statement is almost like what we use in case of C programming. So return of num, here num will be returned to this function and value is getting printed through print statement, right? So this is how it works, return statement. So we all know how to use return statements in case of, so there are some syntactic changes in case of Python, right? If you miss a single comma, it will not execute the program, and as like in a C program, it will not display where. So what is the reason? You will not get any explanatory sentence saying what is the issue that is there in the code, right? It just says invalid syntax, right? So please be careful when you use certain things, right? Some small syntactic things when you define variables, when you define a function, when you use commas, all those things has to be taken care in case of Python usage, right? Okay, let's go for the next one, that is pass by reference or pass by value. So this is purely related to arguments, right? So here things are getting because always programs will be used with the supply of arguments. We always use arguments for defining the function, right? We are not always, we are maximally use arguments for defining the function. Okay, let's go for some simple example. Here this fun is a function, right? My fun is the function that is going to receive a variable called x, right? Here I'm going to use a list, right? So my fun of list, here list is passed as the argument, right? So a list here the list is defined, and my list my fun of list is going to be passed as argument, and it will be receiving at here, right? So, and we will be receiving through x, right? So here I'm trying to change the value of x, the first value of list x in the function, right? My fun function, right? So x of 0 has been changed to 20, and I am just printing the function. This we have already worked out in case of this in the previous video, right? So we have tried for changing of values through values in the list, right? So this is that is more specifically in case of pass by value and pass by reference, right? So here the values changes, right? So in case of Python, if you check for whether the value is getting passed as a value or else reference, so both is not true, right? Because in case of Python, everything is going to be considered as objects, right? So purely what type of data type you are going to use, whether it is mutable one or else immutable one, based on that the value will change, and the change will be reflected in the original variable, right? So that is what the concept here is. If you try to change, let's say let's go for some simple example. So here let's say define update. So and I have a function, and let's put a colon here, and I'm going to change the value of x. Let's update a function. Let's call the function with the value of update. Okay, let's update 10, and I'm receiving the same here in x, and I'm trying to change the value of x by 8, and I'm using print of x here. Alright, so let's see what happens. Here 8 has been printed, right? So the value of 10 is changed, updated. Alright, so let's check for here print at whether that has been changed here or not. Let's see here. Okay, let's consider a equal to 10 here, and a is passed here. A is passed here, and let's print a again here. Let's check for whether a has been updated or not. So I am printing the value of x here. So x equal to right, comma x, and a equal to comma a, right. I am printing both the variables, right. Look at x equal to 8 and a equal to 10. So still a has not changed, right. So because here the argument what we passed, whether it is a value or reference, that is the issue in case of Python, right. So in case of Python, everything is going to be objects. Here it is not passed as a value, here it is not passed as a reference, right. Here everything is considered as a object. So whether it purely depends on what data type you are going to use. Here integer, string, all those things are immutable data types, right. So here for example we have a special function called id, right. So let's check for the id. Okay, here I am printing, so print of id of a, I am printing here, and I am printing the same id here. Print of id of x, and after updated I am printing the same statement, print of id of x. Here id is nothing but, look at, so after change that id has changed, right. Look at, so before here x is, a is passed as a argument, and there's a's id is going to be that this is the number that is getting printed, that 656 is the id of a, and since it is passed as a value or reference, whatever you can say, it will be received at the x at the function, and x is having the same id. Here also I am printing the same id, right. In case of x in the function, the id is going to be same, both are representing the same value, right. That 656 both are representing the same value called 10, and once the x is getting changed, the id is getting changed, right. So 20740, here the id has changed. So when you update certain values, right, it will be treating it as a some other value. Here the breakage of the link between the original value and the reference value has been changed, has been broken since we update the value, right. So that is why based on what type of data type you are going to use, so it will, whether it is getting mutable or not, whether if it is of mutable one, yes, it will change the value, and the original value, the updated value will get automatically reflected in the main variable. If it is not, if it is immutable data type, then that cannot be changed. Let's show some example. I'll show some example through list, right. Okay, here instead of I'm using a list, so list equal to, so 1 2 3 4 5, right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So list, I am passing the list lst to the function. I am trying to update. Okay, we'll change the variable name x. Here x of 0 equal to 20, right. And let's take, I am printing here only, right. So we in the last time we used integer values, but the change has not reflected in the function call, after function call, right. So but here let's see, first initially we'll print here and then we'll check for the, okay, look at the value has changed in the function, right. Since we update, the value has changed in the function. Let's go for the print statement in the main call, right. So let's check for the, look at both as reflected, right. So the change has reflected. So purely as per the in the previous example we used an integer value, but the value has not changed in the main function call, whereas here in case of list is a mutable one. So the change what you have made here is reflected. So here in case of Python, we don't use pass by value or else pass by reference here, right? Here it purely based on what data type you have used for changing the values, right? If it is of immutable one, whatever the change you made in the function, it gets automatically reflected in the original variable. If it is not, it cannot be changed. The change is only there in the function, right? This is how the pass by value or else pass by reference is used in case of the value is getting passed into the function, right? Purely depends on what data type you have used. So the same example is defined here, right? So my function x equal to if you make use of this same here, look at, so instead of changing one single value, I am going to change multiple number of values. Let's take 20, 30 and 50. Look at the change will not get reflected, right? So yes, the same value is getting printed here, because here when you create a separate list, it will treat it as a separate list, and there is a entire change in there is a breakage in the link between the original variable and the past variable, right? So that is what the reason, that is why it is not getting reflected in the main variable, right? So look at, that is the reason why the change is not reflected, right? So that is that is how the arguments are getting passed into the function, right? So okay, let's demonstrate the reference of blink is broken if we assign a new value. The same example, that is swapping, right? So that is what defined here. Definition of my function, and here x is 20 and x is 20, and since the x equal to yes, the same function, same example, right? So it is calling to the function, right? And here x equal to 20 and x equal to 10. After change, there is a change in the value, right? Change in the value of the function, right? So the same example what we have discussed. So purely it depends on whether it is a data type which is mutable or else immutable. So the reflect is going to change in that original value or not, right? So that is how it takes, right? So here if you take the type of arguments, right, we have 4 supportive arguments in case of Python, right? So in this four types of arguments, look at, the first one is position argument, right, and second is keyword argument, and third one is default argument, fourth one is variable length arguments, right? So these are all 4 types of arguments that is supported in case of Python, right? So position arguments are nothing but, for example, we are having thousands and thousands of lines of code, right, and we used to have this mechanism, right? We define the function somewhere, and we used to call the function with somewhere, right? So we don't know what is the first argument, what is the second argument. Let's take this example. So I have defined the function called personal details with the name as the first argument, city as the second argument, and age as the third argument. In this scenario, I have defined the function somewhere, and I have called the function with different order, right, with out of order, right? It is not in the same order as name, city and age, right? Let's take age may be given first, city may be given second, and third may be name. So at that context, so it will receive the values and it will process, but it is a contradictory values, right? So in terms of the name, actual name variable will receive the value of age, and the age variable will receive the value of name. So it is not in proper order, right? So that is how the position value will be passed. There is position argument has to be will come into picture. So whatever the thing it has to be given. This is very normal in case of C programming itself. We always pass the values. We'll always pass the arguments. So as per the order it was defined, right? So name has to be given first, city has to be given second, and age has to be given third. So in case, right, there are situations where we forgot what is the order we have given when we define the function, right? So that is why this keyword, right, keyword will come into picture, right? So which means, so for example, I have defined the function called personal details, and it will receive the arguments in the order name, city and age. So let's assume that we have forgotten the order of the variables, right? Let's take I don't know what is the first variable I have given, I don't know what is the second variable I have given. Instead you can directly give the variable name itself, right? Here let's assume that I don't know what is the order of variables, so I can directly give the name of the variable and followed by the respective values, right? This is also acceptable. That is why it is a keyword argument, right? We can call this as a keyword argument, right? So instead of blindly giving without knowing the order of the arguments, so we can pass directly with the name of the argument, right? So that is what the important feature supportive in case of Python. So here age is equal to 33 because there may be some confusions, right? We have defined, because when we deal with large amount of code, we have defined the function somewhere, and if there are possibilities where we may forgot order of the arguments what we have defined. So instead we can directly give the name of the variable and we define the values also, right? So that is also accepted in case of Python. And the third one is default arguments. This is also supportive in case of C programming itself. The default argument is nothing but, let's take I'll be passing there are cases where we may not give certain details, right? Certain details in the sense it has to be passed as a default one, right? In such scenarios, for example, I am defining personal details, I may forgot to give the age of a person, so it will automatically take that, right? So that is what default argument is. Let's take, so the function will accept 3 arguments, but unfortunately the third argument, which is age, is absent. So in such scenarios it will take automatically. So that has been given in the function definition itself. I have to define age equal to 15, age equal to 18, whatever the number you want, right? So it will automatically pass. So it will pass. For example, if I call the function of personal details, so with name, certain name and age and city, so all the 3 values, this age value will be overridden if it is getting passed, right? So if I call the function with age value, so the whatever the value I am passing, it will override the keyword, the default argument. So if it is not passed, it will take the default value. Please understand. So a default value is nothing but, so if it is used for calling the function, it will override the default value. So if it is not used, it will supply the default value, whatever you have defined when you define the function, right? That is what the concept of default argument. Let's see, we will use all these concepts in ideally. And the last most important feature of Python is argument is variable length argument. So in this case, for example, there are scenarios we do, for example, let's take here in this example definition of sum, right? So a comma star b. This star b indicates I don't know how much amount of sum, how much amount of variables I am going to use, right? I may sum up for example, let's take in this problem, I am going to summate 2 values, right? But there are scenarios we don't know how much number of variables we are going to use. So in such scenarios, we can use that star as the variable length. That is the second parameter, right? So we can use that as the variable length. Variable length in the sense I don't know how much number of parameters, arguments I am going to use, right? It's a imaginary one, right? So I am going to use it as a star. Let's see how this works. C equal to a, it's a first variable, and for x in b is whatever that is there. It's more than one value. So it will take it as a it's a tuple, right? It will take it as a tuple, right? So here b is a tuple. That is why we use for loop for accessing the values in the tuple, right? So when we use that is a curly bracket, so it is a tuple, right? So the second argument is is a tuple, and it assumes that it's more than one value, right? Because that is why we go for variable length, right? So it assumes that it is a more than one value, and when we use a star as a one of the argument in the function, so it will take it as a tuple, and it will access each value in each value in the tuple. Look at, so for x in b, right? So this is for loop. When we use for loop, if you deal with more than one values, right? So you will be so here look at c equal to c plus x. So it will access each value in the tuple, and it will add with each value in the c. So c is getting updated with the each summation, and finally that print, it will print c, right? Which means here look at the first value is 5, and rest of the 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 6, 7, 8, 10 it's a tuple, and it will summate all those values, and it will be added to the c, and finally c is getting printed, right? So this is how this variable length argument is used in case of Python. Let's see how this works, each individual argument. So the first one will go for position, what we regularly use, right? So nothing issues. So here keyword is the important one. Okay, let's define some values. So to make sense, we'll use proper meaningful statements. Okay, let's okay, we'll personal details. Let's define the function. So it has to be defined like name and city, pin code. You want to use colon, and I just print each detail here. Print of city, print of pin code. Yes. So now I am making call to function called personal details, and I am calling the function with. So it has to be let's take the first one, Rams, and city is Bhavani, and the pin code is 638301, right? Function.py. Let's run this program. Yes, it prints each individual value, right? No issues. So here let's go for the keyword, right? Let's assume that. So it will execute actually. Let's think that we have defined in the order of name, city, and pin code. So, but I have forgotten, right? I have forgotten the order in which I have defined the function, right? So I am passing by assuming that I have given the name of the city first, and the second one is pin code, and third one is name. So it will be called with different in out of order values, right? So let's check for. So it will execute, no issues at all. But when we make some operations, let's take instead of pin code, so I am using age, right? I am using age, so it will process. Look at. Okay, there are some issues when we receive the value, right? So because age. What is the error that is showing? So pin code is not defined. Yes, name pin code is not defined, right? So that is the issue. But when we print certain when we make some modifications with received value, at the time there may be issues. So instead we can go for this methodology that is called keyword argument, right? Here city equal to, if you forgot, right, in the if you forgot in what way it was, the order of the argument has been defined. We can go for this methodology, right? Pin code equal to, so here, and name equal to. Yes, this is another way called keyword argument, right? Let's define this. Yes, now it works, right? So even though it may be out of order, but it takes it as a proper one because we have defined the variable itself, right? So that is what keyword argument is, right? Let's go for the next one, which is default argument. Default argument is very same what we discussed, what we have studied in case of Python programming, right? So here let's go for some simple examples, right? So if you define, let's take pin code equal to 6383 right, what we have studied. So if you forgot to it may be forgotten or else intentionally not given in case of function call, so it will take automatically, right? So look at, if I print, yes, it will take, right? Even though I haven't used pin code for calling the function, but it will be automatically supplied as one of the argument. That is why it is a default argument. We know the what is the meaning of default, so it will be automatically supplied. So there are cases where we call the function with some different argument. Let's take our own college 638060 as the argument. So this argument will override the default value, right? So that is what the concept of default argument. Look at the value has been changed, right? So default argument will be overridden by the newly calling argument value, right? So that is what default argument is. And the last one is interesting one, which is variable length arguments, right? So to make sense, we go for some integer value calculation so that we can able to see how the working mechanism happens, right? Let's go for sum and sum of let's take a comma star b, right? So see if you and you want to give a colon here, and I want to make a sum, right? And here what needs to be done here is c equal to a, and let's take I'll take I in b, and I want to make a sum here, c equal to c plus, right? C equal to c plus I, right? And I print c here, right? And I'm calling the function here sum of 1 2 3 4 5, right? So let's run this program. Look at what that is happening is, so I want to print it outside. Look at what that is happening is, so I'm calling the function called sum with more than two. Actually only two arguments has been passed as per the definition of the function. So only two argument a and b is passed, but it is b star defines it as a variable length. Variable length means I doesn't know how much number of arguments I am going to use in my function, right? So it's a star b is nothing but it's a list. It's not a list, it's a tuple, right? It's a collection, right? We all know that Python supports collection of values as almost like an array. So Python supports list data type is there, set data type is there, tuple is there, dictionary is there, right? So here when you supply the second argument as star b, so it indicates star with a star. So it indicates that it's a list, right? It's not a list, it's a collection of items, right? So it takes it as a tuple, and it will start processing that second variable as a tuple, right? So the first argument here is a, and the set of arguments, that is 2 3 4 5, is nothing but it's a tuple that is passed into b, right? It takes it as a tuple, and a is assigned to c, and since it is of a tuple, it's a collection of values. So I'm going to use for loop for processing that value. I want to access each value from the tuple, and I want to make a summation, right, with the a value, right? So c equal to c plus I. I'm adding all those values to c, and I'm finally printing the value of c here, right? So 1 2 that is together with all these five values, the output is properly coming, right? So it's 15, right? So what that is most important is, right, so here the values, the set of values, why doesn't know how much number of arguments I'm going to pass, right? So we can instead I can, because if you want to define, you want to change all those things, right? For example, at certain time I'm going to use only two variables for making a sum, and suddenly I have changed, I want to make a sum for three variables, I'm going to make a sum for four variables. Each time you want to change the function, you want to update your function, you want to change the code. So instead you can go for this variable length arguments. So here you can give n number of arguments, right? Let's take, I can increase it to as much number of arguments you want. So it will take all those values, and it will finally without any change, it will finally update the value. Look at 55 will get printed. So that is the key advantage of this variable length argument is, right? So I think with this all these types of arguments has been over, right? We have discussed about functions and how arguments are getting passed. It's not passed through value, it's not passed by reference. Here all the arguments are treated, all the things are passed in case of Python are taken as objects, and purely it's data, it depends on the data type. So if it is of mutable one, the value what that has been passed, and if it is there is an update, it will be automatically reflected in the main memory. If not, so if it is not mutable one, the value will not get updated. It change whatever that has been implemented in the function, it is there only in the function, it's not updated in the original value, right? And in case of type of arguments, here 4 supporting arguments are there: position, keyword, default, and variable length. And position, what we have already discussed in case of C programming. Keyword is a one important one where we may forgot the we may forgot in what order the arguments has been defined while we define the function. So instead we can give with the argument name itself. Here the name and the order of the argument is name, city, and age. But here it has been defined with age equal to, name equal to, and city equal to. We can explicitly say the argument name itself. And default argument, what we have used in C programming, it is already there in C programming. And variable length argument is an interesting one, which is having unknown number of arguments that is going to be passed. We don't know how much number of arguments I am going to pass. Instead, I can give with star as the symbol to say that it is a variable length argument, and it will be treating it as a tuple, and it will be processed using a loop, and you can access whatever the values in the tuple with the for loop with a variable, and we can do whatever the operations you want within the loop, right? So these are all the things that is related to function. We'll see another concept in the next video. Thank you.